can be blurred. But I say all that to say, I'm not here to tell anyone that what they did was good or bad or their choice was right or wrong. I'm here to figure out what's going on for you that made you make that choice.
Yeah.
Right? And hopefully if we get to the root of the thing, we can stop you from making choices that are not helpful for your life or helpful to the people that you come in contact with. That's really more my job.
Mental Health Monday.
Mental Health Monday.
So you mentioned earlier that you do work, well, you have done work with murderers and rapists, right? Is there a certain mindset and approach behind that work? The reason I ask you this question is I think a lot of folks assume everyone needs a therapist, right? But people don't think of who the therapist is willing to meet with and why these people need work and help too.
Yeah, no, I think my mindset going into it is just that everyone does need a therapist. And if everyone turned the murderer or the rapist away, our murderers and rapists will multiply.
Yeah, because they'll hand down what they've taught and not see the error in their ways.
Yeah, and it will continue on, you know, and the next generation or the next person that they impact will then be impacted by this negative thing. I'm all about like exchanging positivity. So I feel like if you can come to me and explain to me your story and tell me exactly what happened in an honest way, and I can walk out of the room and feel comfortable about working with you, I'm going to work with you. I'm not turning people away because they have a past.
Yeah.
As long as I'm safe. Of course, my own personal safety is going to come before everything, but I'm very brave and I'm a believer that people are not all bad. So that if you can reach out to that nugget of good that's in them and appeal to that, you'll probably see more of that, you know?
I think I've said this to my partner and friends that I'm close with on multiple occasions. As much as people love me for who I am and this person that I've become over the years, I tell them it takes practice. And that means every day I wake up not acknowledging that I'm this great person or this good person people love me as, but that I'm working towards it, and that's why I'm able to be him.
Yeah.
Because like if I don't practice it and I start telling myself I'm a good guy or I'm the good guy, it's very easy to stop being the thing when you're consistently praising yourself for what people praise you for, when it's like, no, actually that took a lot of work and that takes practice.
Yeah, no, it's so true, for sure.
Yeah, and it's very easy to also become opposite of that because you're busy saying, well, I'm a good person, why are these things happening for me? And it's like, well,
yeah, when you're a good person, but you confront adversity, right? Like I'm all about like, how am I going to respond to things that come in my path, right? Like I can respond to them in a negative way, or I can find the positive or the learning lesson in this and figure out how to turn it into a positive situation or something that I just say, this is not for me, and detour.
Okay. When it comes to the work that you do with rapists in particular, and the reason I'm asking about this is coming out of the pandemic, prior to the pandemic, there was a big cancel movement. And I feel the word cancel and what it means and what it was supposed to mean has changed over the years. And people have diluted the original purpose of what that word was and what it was supposed to accomplish into all these things. And I feel people are missing the point. So I feel like this is a great discussion topic right here.
Yeah, for sure. I think that people have to give other people more grace, right? And we have to really get to someone's intentions. Now, obviously, somebody who rapes someone, and this is just an example, it's not like I work with rapists all day, all the time.
I got you.
But somebody who rapes somebody, that's a really bad thing, and that's something that no one should ever do to anybody. That's obvious. I'm more here.
It's an easy line across.
Lines across. Oh, rape. Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, especially with like kink culture and like, there's just so many ways that something can be seen as one way to one person and seen as another to another, right? And that's not, of course, ever excusing anyone who rapes. Like, that's terrible. But I can see how a line can be blurred. But I say all that to say, I'm not here to tell anyone that what they did was good or bad, or their choice was right or wrong. I'm here to figure out what's going on for you that made you make that choice.
Yeah.
Right? And hopefully if we get to the root of the thing, we can stop you from making choices that are not helpful for your life or helpful to the people that you come in contact with. That's really more my job. I'm never here. I have plenty of people who do things that, and not even as severe and terrible as rape, but just in general in their day to day that I would never do, but that doesn't mean that it's bad for them.
Yeah.
That's your lifestyle. Do your thing, go off.
Yeah.
But is it helpful for you? Is it helpful for your peers? Is it helpful for your community?
Are you having a hard conversation before these decisions are made also?
Exactly.
So the reason I bring that up is there's actually an interview that's probably going to come out a couple of weeks before we drop this interview, because yours is probably going to come out in October. The goal is to have a therapist on each episode, not each episode, on the platform once a month. So you're October. To answer your question from earlier. And he told me about his assault stories. He had 2 assault stories. He's someone who manages ADHD, and he was assaulted by one man, one woman. But the stories were different in terms of one person got him really drunk, and it was the girl, and it was on her birthday, and it was like a whole plot. And there was betrayal, disappointment, and I remember him telling me about the rape is bad.
Of course.
I'm not comparing which part of the story was worse, but there was one particular moment where the deed had happened, and he called his girlfriend to let her know what had happened. And she said to him, "You betrayed me. You did this to me." And he's like, "But I'm calling you to let you know I was raped." And she was like, "Men can't be raped." And I was just like, and this story happened to him back in 2013, 2014, if I'm not mistaken, right? So he's gone to therapy for it, but you go into therapy for things, I tell a lot of folks, that doesn't change the feeling. That changes the way it's digested and your perspective and how you're handling it. But what has happened has happened.
Right.
Right. And then for the guy, they were at a party together, and he's like, "Hey, you should do this drug." And he was like, "All right, cool." But the guy didn't let him know what the drug would do to him. He took advantage of him in that moment.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, it's not surprising to me that these things are so easy, but it's very disappointing when you hear these stories. And I always question, how did the people around you react? Because I'm very big on, unfortunately, life is going to happen to you, and it's not always going to be positive. But what does matter is the people who are around you that you trust, that you believe in, how did they handle your moment with you?
Sure,
Were they there for you, or are they just there because you're convenient and the relationship happens to work?
And what does being there for you mean, right?